Hi, this is Trinisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about acknowledging him. So, what made me want to talk about this is if you saw the video yesterday, I was a hot mess. I mean, I wasn't a hot mess, I was just going through life, and I really was, I don't want to say in my feelings, I just was dealing with normal life stuff. And it's I'm gonna say this just because, but and I just like to divulge a lot of information apparently, but I was in my therapy session and apparently it's normal when there are a lot of changes in your life for something like that to happen. And so it's just a normal life thing, but it was just it was a plethora of things at once. It wasn't just one thing or another. It wasn't because of one person or, one event. It was literally just like I had a lot to deal with and I felt a little overwhelmed and then all at once. Every insecurity, everything that was had troubled my spirit or had troubled me in the past, something that had caused me concern in the past, all at one time was flooding me, and it was a lot emotionally to have to deal with. And I was just like an emotional wreck yesterday. Like I would like to try to play it down like, oh no, it really wasn't that big of a deal, but no, I legit was yeah, I was really going through it. Like I I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just one of those things. But uh God really just pulled me through that because I had to pray. I spent so much time just being like, God, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I need to do. Like I went to my therapist and stuff like that and I had a session and I read the Bible. I did my Dappy T Keys thing. I did the vlog, things like that. I try to make sure that I have some place that's an outlet or something that brings content to my spirit. So I'm not just constantly over processing or constantly over analyzing or constantly being in a heightened state. I want to make sure that I am mentally, physically, and emotionally at the healthiest I could possibly be. And so I don't take any of that stuff for granted. I don't take it lightly at all. I don't even while as I'm saying it, and usually I awkward laugh, but this is no like joking matter. When it comes to your health, that is the most important thing. Like I don't care I don't care who's in your life. I don't care who has to go. I don't care what changes you need to make in the safest way possible. You need to make sure that you are healthy physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Do not let somebody steal your joy. Don't let them disrupt your peace. Don't let one person make you feel like you're inadequate. Don't allow someone to be a part of your life that destroys your peace. And I know I keep saying that, but it's so true because sometimes you will meet a person and it's not that they're a bad person, it's not that they have anything wrong with them or anything like that. It's just when they enter into your life, havoc happens. Or, I mean, and I'm not just talking about real life stuff. I'm talking about you just feel an uneasiness in your spirit when you meet them, when they become a part of your life. And it couldn't, I mean, it could absolutely have absolutely nothing to do with them. It could be an intuition thing with women. I don't know. I don't know if men feel this way as well, but sometimes you meet a certain person and it gives you an uneasiness. Like your spirit can't be at rest, if that makes any sense. And sometimes I come in contact with people like that. Like that's one of the things I really loved about, I don't want to say loved. That's one of the things I appreciated and like one of the pros of the pandemic is being online, not being in person as often because the only people I had to come in contact with was people that I love. So, and then like there were a few people here and there that I would see occasionally, like at the store or something like that, but I didn't have to like constantly run into several different types of personalities or spirits. So it's, and you don't run into a spirit, but you know what I mean. And so, so it's just for me because I'm a caring person who's who's empathetic towards others, it is really, I don't want to say it's stressing, but it talk it's taxing sometimes on me when I meet certain people because I want to be caring and I want to be helpful. And so you can't help everybody, but I also want to try to help as many people as I can. And so sometimes it gets a little difficult because I have to know like where the boundary lies, or have to make sure that in my life I don't have too many things that are overwhelming. I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself so that I can give to other people or other things. So it's not just me being completely emotionally drained and exhausted. So So as I went through my whole thing, I was gonna say debacle, but I'm not gonna say that. So, but as I went through my whole like thing yesterday, and I just was really like, I just, I really was feeling like, God, I really don't know what I'm gonna do right now. Like, I was in this weird financial position, and I'm not gonna like give too much information. I mean, I probably should because it could help someone. And also, I don't want to just be like oversharing either. So I was going through this weird predicament where it's so funny because I will do things in my life that people think are weird. And when you start a conversation like that, people are like, "What are you talking about?" But I'll do things in my life that people think are weird. I do all the time. And I have like this in my mind, it makes sense to me, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this, this, and this because if this happens, I want this to happen. And then meanwhile other people are like, this rarely ever happens. And then I'm like, but I'm prepared for it. And so like I'll set up and I'll like plan for things like that. And people will be like, oh, that's ridiculous. And no, like I didn't speak this into existence or anything, and I didn't say a specific name, so I didn't like use, the power of the tongue is so powerful. I didn't do one of those things. I literally just was like, I need to be prepared in case this happens in general, in any area. It could have happened to anybody. And and God was telling me to prepare, like, this is why I'm helping you in this area. This is why I need you to do this. This is why I'm telling you to wait. And I would be like, I'm going to wait before I do this because I don't feel like it's the right time for me to do this. And people in my life kept saying, do this, do this, do this, do this constantly for like 6 months. And then finally I broke down and I did it. And when I did it, I felt I felt like happy about it in the moment because I got the okay from God, but I also couldn't enjoy it because it wasn't just my decision, it was everyone else's decision. So it really just made me feel like I could never really appreciate it the way that I was supposed to appreciate it. Every moment I just kept feeling like, it's why am I doing this? Like I know God said yes, but it just felt, when I make decisions for myself, when I do things because it's something I really truly believe in, because it's something I really want to do, it makes me feel amazing. It feels so great, so powerful, because it's like no one else made this decision for me. This is something I did for myself. But when someone else influences me to make a decision, even if it's the best decision, it doesn't feel as rewarding, I guess. And so, so I was gonna wait until a month or two, just because. Not, I had no idea what was gonna happen the past like 5 months of my life, or what is it? Probably by the time this video comes out, it'll be December. So I had no idea this was gonna happen in the last 4 months of my life, but I really was like, something was telling me, no, you need to do this, this, and this. God. And so so I followed it for the most part. There was parts where I was like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. I should be okay with this. Like people would ask for stuff and I would be like, okay, I should be able to help with this or whatever else. And I'm helping. And I'm completely forgetting the fact that I'm supposed to be doing this with this amount. Like this is why it was there. It wasn't there just so that, even though it's nothing wrong with helping people, but I need to make sure that if I'm helping someone, God is telling me, yes, I can help them. I'm not just trying to be just giving stuff away just to give stuff away, you know? So, so I get into the situation, and I'm not going to try to share too much because I can't talk about all of it, but I get into the situation where, because of the decision that I made based on other people, I didn't feel like as appreciative of it, or I didn't feel like I got to enjoy it as much because it was what I wanted, but I go back and forth about feeling like I'm worthy of stuff and feeling like I'm worthless. And that's just me being 100% honest. I'm sorry. I know everybody's going to be like, oh, but you did blah, blah, blah. Yes. And another thing that I want to straighten up out is when I say I'm worthy because God created me. I'm saying that because God is saying that He knows everything about me and He is creating me to be worthy of whatever it is that He decides to give me. Do I do a lot of things in my life and mess up, make mistakes, do missteps and everything else? Yes, of course. And that makes me not worthy of God's grace and His mercy. Yes. But that does not make me worthless. So I just want to make sure I clarify that because I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying, oh, I deserve this. I'm supposed to have. Like, no. When you start feeling like you deserve all these things instead of being graced for it, you start getting unappreciative and arrogant. And that's when your blessings stop. That's when you don't get as many things as God could give you because it'll make you feel like you you need more than you need. It'll make you greedy instead of humble and appreciative. And so I try to always make sure that no matter what's going on in my life, I'm always like checking myself and making sure that I know that God doesn't have to do any of these things. And also, I try so hard to not just be like, after all the things you've done, you better be lucky God gave you this, like, because it's really hard to feel like God would bless me with all of the things that He already has blessed me with when I messed up so badly. Like it's like after all the things I've done in my life, how can He feel like I deserve any of this? You know? And it's not, I know people are probably going to be like, the probably going to be like, that's ridiculous, but really, like when you really humble yourself, when you really appreciate God, when you really think about all the things that you've done and how how you handle certain situations before you rededicated your life to God or before you gave your life to Him, does it really make you feel like when you look around at the things that God's blessed you with, the family members, the friends, the people he's let in your life, do you really feel like you deserve that? And if your answer is yes, then you probably need to humble yourself a little bit. No, no, I'm just kidding. But no, but seriously, the more humble you can be, the more easier it'll be for God to bless you. Because He doesn't want to bless an arrogant person because you will never appreciate anything. You'll always be looking for more. So it's just something that you should really do. But yes, while I'm going back and forth just between feeling worthy and worthless, just to be transparent, I mean, I could sit on here and pretend like, oh, I always feel so amazing. Like, no, I don't always feel super amazing. Like, sometimes I feel like crap. Sometimes, sometimes I feel great. Sometimes I feel not so great. Like today is a good day, obviously, because I'm smiling again. But I really had to go through that like emotional warfare yesterday to get to this. Like, and I feel so much better, like so much lighter. Like, even though I was through all of those things and it's a normal thing, it felt like it was an extra dump, like of all the toxic stuff. Like everything that could have went wrong in the past that went wrong and things that I forgave myself for, things that I've forgiven other people for were things that I was thinking of yesterday. And I was like, what? But it was because some of the new things that I have in my life were overwhelming me. And whenever you get overwhelmed in your life, the therapist said that when you get overwhelmed in your life, the first thing that breaks is your emotional state. Like your emotional, not breaks, but that's the first place that that all of that energy goes, is into your emotions or into like your mental state, which is why you see a lot of people have to deal with like things like that constantly, especially when they have a lot on their plate. Because, or when you see people that have a lot of money, that, you know, their emotions are like emotionally unstable or whatever else. And I'm not a therapist, so don't quote me on any of this. I'm just saying that it's just normal to, when you feel overwhelmed, to like go through like a breakdown, or to get like super overly emotional, because that's the first place that those things go, apparently. And so I had no idea. I didn't expect it, didn't know what was going to happen. I just was thinking, what is wrong with me right now? And I was really in my feelings though, so hard. Like, it was crazy. And I was like, oh my goodness, really? This is what we're doing? And man, I was praying so hard. I was just like, God, like, I couldn't see past, it was like an emotional cloud in front of me. I could not see past it. I don't know how to describe it. It was just like blurry. Like, it was like, usually I could focus on certain things and I'm over analytical, but instead of me being over analytical and processing a bunch of things at once, multitasking and working on business stuff, working on like job stuff, working on my home, my work life balance, everything else, like instead of doing all of that at once, it was like tens, I don't want to say tens of thousands. It was probably like 5 different things that were just hitting me at one time, like one big emotional attack. And I was just like, that's why you saw me yesterday. I was just like, I'm so emotional sometimes. It's crazy. But yeah. Mm, 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 mm. But I'm glad that's over now. Because I was like, oh, good thing I'm single, because the person I was with would be like, what in the world? Like, didn't she just finish crying? I don't think I would cry in front of other people though. I don't like to cry in front of anybody. So, and I, yeah, I just don't cry in front of people like that. So I don't think I would have, I think I would have made up an excuse to go somewhere else if I didn't feel comfortable enough around the person. And I probably would have just like walked down to like the beach or something. And I would have just cried there while no one was there. Or I would have like went somewhere else. I don't think I would have cried in front of anybody. But you see me cry on these videos all the time because I'm overly emotional. But yeah. I just, whew, I was really in my feelings. I was emotionally like exhausted yesterday. I cried so much. I was like, I cried so much. This is how good God is. God could bless you even when you're emotionally all over the place. Because I was like literally like so exhausted and crying and crying. And you know how I had that nasal drip thing going on? Today I have had no issues with the nasal drip thing at all. Like, I might be talking a little bit funny because it's starting to clear up and I'm sniffing a little bit because it's just the air. But there's no drainage. I worked out today and I didn't feel like my nose, like this part of my nose was wide open. Like, it actually felt normal. And it's like the tears, it's like the tears healed my sickness. I know that's not what actually happened, but that's what it felt like. It really felt like I went through that, and like not only did I feel lighter, like my body feels better. I don't feel like anything. And where the nasal drip was happening, like it's completely healed. I don't feel anything there. Just normal. And leave it to me to like have an emotional breakdown, or not emotional breakdown, but like just super overly emotional crying day turn into a healing thing. But yeah, whew, I was really feeling it. I was really feeling everything. Like everything I've forgiven people for, everything that I went through in the past, everything that I thought I was already over, every person that is no longer a part of my life. Like, I just, whew, decisions I've made, bad decisions I've made. Like, it was nothing good. It was not like, oh, you accomplished this, good job. It was like oh, remember that time? I was like, oh, dang, that's what we doing. Like, it was real difficult. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through this, but with God, like, that's the only way that I'm gonna be able to make it. Like, obviously. And so, so I make it through that. And what helped me is, well, I did the vlog yesterday. That usually helps because sociology is one of the highest forms of the highest forms of being able to like get through emotions and healing, because usually you'll notice there was like a study that was conducted years ago, and when I was doing my introductory to psych classes back in '08. Okay, let's not age me like that, but but when I was doing that and I was learning about Sigmund Freud and different theories and different experimentations that they were doing and things like that, sociology was one of the highest rated forms of being able to de-stress and get rid of like different things within your system. Like, you know how when you are dealing with a lot of different things at once or something's on your mind, when you vent to someone, you could really get those emotions out. It allows you to clear your head. You're in a better mental state. Sometimes that's like the main thing that causes people to be able to heal, to be able to grow, to be able to learn, to become a better person. And uh, I personally think that is so true. That's why you see like friends talking all the time, or confiding in one another. That's why you see certain people when they go to therapists or counselors, they're talking most of the time. That's why when you see people in mentorship programs or life coaching, they are usually venting, because venting helps them psychologically as well. It helps them mentally, and it also helps them get like a lot of the burden that they're carrying off their shoulders. So it's not something that they have to carry alone anymore. And every time I talk like that, I'm like, I know people are going to be like, why she have to go into a whole like informational thing, like, oh, PSA, here's a public service announcement. But I just thought that would be helpful because it's one of those things. And really look it up for yourself, because I really don't like to be the person that says, oh, this, and this. And then a lot of people just jump on the bandwagon and act like that's gold. Like, really research it for yourself. Get some old psychology books. Nobody's going to do that. But I would do that if I watched this video because I'm that type of person. But get an old psychology book, or a new one, because I'm pretty sure every year they're coming out with a new edition for whatever it is. Psych 101. Look at some of Sigmund Freud's experimentations that he used to do back in the day. A lot of his theories stem from sociology as being one of the first ones. He was the person, one of the very first psychologists who thought of that being a method of, okay, a method of treatment. And so he was one of my favorite psychologists, honestly. That was like one of the reasons why I was going to become a psychologist, because I loved helping people, and all of his experiments that he did, like all of the ways that he would like talk about different things, and like he was way before his time, and a lot of people didn't really, they acknowledged him, but it was like he was so outside of the box. People were just like, oh, that doesn't even seem like something we should be doing, but it's still to this day like true. And so I just think I always gravitate towards people like that because I'm so different. And usually when I say things, people are like, ugh. And then 10 years later, it's a thing. And I'm like, why did I not put that in writing? Just no, no, just kidding. But I really do think like that all the time. And people always underestimate me. Not always. There are some people who really truly believe in me. I can't say that. I can't say always, because there are people who truly do believe in me. And just because there's a few people who, don't, that's just normal. But yeah. And so, but yeah, I'll say something, and even when I'm like in a group of people or something, I will be thinking about something and I'll say something and people are just like, like that makes no sense. And then Next thing you know, a celebrity or or a person, I don't know any of these celebrities, so they didn't get it from me. That's just their idea. But it'll be another person that comes out with something and they'll be like this and this, and I'm like, and then the person this is what drives me like so like I'm just like, really? Like, really? Like, we'll be sitting in a place or something, and the person that I said this to will be sitting beside me, and the person on TV or the scientist, usually it's not a science thing, usually it's like a theorist or something like that, will say something, and the person will be like, "Oh yeah, I could see how that's gonna happen," and I'm like, "I said this last year." And you were like, "That's crazy. Why would you say that?" But no, when this person says it now, all of a sudden it's good. Like, no, they really do that though. And I'm just like, okay. So now I just keep my ideas to myself and I'll write it down a lot. And then I try not to say too much around people because I'm just like, people are like, I say things and then I'm like, they don't hear me though. So I just answer what's needed to be answered. I let people just go ahead and do their own thing, and I just try to be supportive of other people because yeah, I just gotta follow God. So yeah. So, anyways, as I went through like this whole emotional thing, and I just reached out to my counselor, talked to my counselor. That was whenever. But before I reached out to the counselor, I did, a vlog. I washed my hair, which is why it looks like this. People are probably like, it probably looks the same, but I, it's way cleaner for sure. Like I have no gunk in my hair. I don't know why I did that. Now it's gonna stick up because that's just what my hair does. And believe it or not, when I put this in the half up, half down situation earlier, it was down here where these braids are. And then, if I always say I have 4C hair, but I try not to like categorize. I'm just gonna say, since my hair is kinky curly, every time I wash my hair, the shrinkage is so real. Like, I could start off, you see it sometimes when I'm conditioning my hair and it's like here, wavy here, and then it'll dry and it's like, shoo. I'm like, it is what it is. This is just what's gonna happen every day. I'm just gonna have to do this. So I wash my hair and I feel better because whenever I wash my hair, I just feel so like free and relaxed and just like, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like any worries that were in my hair are gone or any concerns that were from the top of my head has flown off of my body. so, so it's like so enlightening, like, okay, oh, this is good. So I just I just felt really calm and peaceful. And then I did not sleep very well at first. Like, I had trouble going to sleep, but once I fell asleep, I would sleep for a really long time. So I was like, okay, I'm good right here. So, so I'm sleeping, and that's good. And then I wake up in the morning, or yeah, wake up in the morning. I have like a counseling session and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, this is good. I can do counseling and then work, then go to work and all the other things I have to do today. And so during the day, I like to, in the background, like sometimes play like sermons or something like that while we play. And so today, I had a moment with God. Well, I had a moment with God last night, and I said, God, I'm sorry for seeming like I'm so ungrateful because I just couldn't get over all my emotional stuff yesterday for some reason. I really wanted to be better, to do better, but I really struggled really hard. And I would like to sit on here and pretend like that didn't happen, but it did. So we're going to be real. And so, so I really, really struggled a lot. Like, I struggled hard, and I was just like, I'm so sorry, God, that I just was so ungrateful at this moment. yesterday. I just couldn't get it together. I wanted to be better. I wanted to do better. No matter what I did, it just seemed like I couldn't do anything better. And then God said, did you ask me for help? And I said, no. That was like the easiest thing to do. I should have known that. I should have known that I could have asked God at any moment and he would have helped me. But for some reason, I just felt like I needed to sit in it. I felt like I couldn't just go with an easy out. I had to try to find a way on my own. And I do that a lot. So I'm trying to get better at it. But I didn't. And God was like, okay, now that you're asking for my help, I'm going to help you. And after that, it was like washing the hair, everything else, just like it was smooth sailing. I was like, why do I always pretend as if like I get that spiritual amnesia and then all of a sudden I forget of how good God is. I forget about his grace and his mercy. I forget how wonderful he is. I forget how he's the God who can fight all of our battles. He provides for us. He's always there for us. He knows us when no one else knows us. He knows every hair on our head. It's like I really just forget about all of his goodness out of nowhere. And I think that I have to handle it on my own when I don't. It's so weird. Like it happens all the time. I like to pretend like it doesn't happen anymore because I rededicated my life to God, but it's like life happens and I'm just like, it can't be that easy. There's no way. Like God would want me to have to go through this because of the things that I've done in the past, or Satan like starts to throw things at you and make you feel guilty or feel bad about something that happened in the past, or make you feel badly about certain things that are going on in your life. And God's like already forgiven you a long time ago for all of that stuff. He's already said that he wants to use the things from the past so that you could be a testimony to other people. He's already said that that doesn't matter. So the only person holding on to it at that moment is you and Satan trying to throw it in your face. So why are you letting him control you? And so I really had to do some self-reflection. I really had to really let God know that I understand. Like I acknowledge who he is. And so I asked God, I was struggling with something yesterday. And I said, God, I just don't understand why you would allow me to see this if I couldn't have it. Like it didn't make any sense to me why I could, I would be shown something that was everything that God promised me and not be able to have that thing. I know people are like, what? You're a Christian and you're thinking like this? This is how normal people think all the time, whether they admit it or not. People are going to pretend like they're all perfect, like they never have moments like this. I'm going to be real because I think that if someone watches this and they hear my testimony or they hear the things that I went through, it might help them lean on God instead of leaning on society or trying to go another way because they feel like they're not perfect enough or feel like they're being judged and they'll never be able to turn to God when God will accept you however you are. You don't have to have all the cliches and be the standard Christian. All you have to do is be willing, obedient. That's it. Willing and obedient. That's all you have to do. And I always say Christian on here, but I think I want to start saying disciple because I want to be the type of person who walks like Christ. I want to be the type of person who follows God. I want to follow all of his principles. I want to make sure that I'm being the best version of me that I could possibly be, that I'm showing what it looks like to be a Christian. I want to walk by faith and not by sight. I really want to be about that life. I don't want to just say a few cliche terms or a few scriptures or verses or quotes or post it. I want to really be intentional with my life. I really want when people are having a conversation about something, if it's something that I know is means me no good, I don't want to be a part of that conversation. If someone is talking about something, I want to be the type of person, the type of woman who goes straight to the person. I don't want to have any out of the box conversations about anything that I can't talk to the person about at all. And ever since I rededicated my life, I've always felt that way in a way. But before I was more concerned about hurting other people's feelings. But now that I know there's a way to say it in a respectful way, I would rather do that any day than to say something that would hurt someone's feelings or someone misconstrue it when that's not what I intended. And it's not that it has anything to do with someone saying or doing anything. Nothing's happened. I just want to do better. I want to be better. I want to be a better person. Mm-mm. Sorry, I thought I heard something. I was like, mm-mm. What is that? But yeah, so I just want to do better. I really do. When I was going through my emotional stuff and I was really feeling a certain type of way, I really felt so angry at myself and disappointed in certain areas, and I was just like, I should be better than this by now. Like, I don't understand why I'm going through this right now. But knowing that it's like normal, knowing that everything's okay and I'm still on the right track is good. I just when I had talked to God and I said I don't understand why I'd be able to see this and not be able to have it. Like I really I really felt like why would God show me this? Allow me to see this in my life and not have it. Like why would God want to dangle something in front of my face? Like it felt like I was being teased. It felt like it was like a ha 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 ha, like you can't get it. Like how you have like that big kid that's like dangling something over the shorter kid and he's like trying to jump to get it. That's how I felt. I really felt like that's what I felt like with this one thing. And I was just like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I just kept feeling like, is it me? Am I not good enough? Did I do something wrong? Like, what is it that's making God think that I don't deserve this? And I mean, I don't deserve most of the things that God gives me, anyways, but, but really, and I was really in my head, in my feelings, like it was crazy. And I just, I had to take a moment and really think about what it was that I was really asking God for. And think about all the things that God has done in the past. And think about who God is. And God is not the mean kid holding whatever it is over top of the little kid. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to have joy in your life. If there's anything that God is not giving you, it's because he has better for you. And I know you're probably thinking, well, this is like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So how could anything be better than that? You remember when you were a kid, and this is probably for men and women. I don't know if men feel like this, but you know how when you were a kid and you had a crush on that one guy in school and he was just like, it doesn't matter if he was cute or if he was just like the coolest person because he did blah or whatever else it was, or if he wasn't just a cool person but he was just the person that all the girls liked for whatever reason or whatever else. I don't know, whatever it is. Remember that guy in school, in middle school or whatever it was that you had a crush on and you were just like, oh my gosh, he's like the cutest person ever. It would just be so amazing if I could imagine if God let you be with that person and you thought that was the best thing ever. Now that you've lived life and you're an adult, that's not the best person. Oh, I'm not trying to get on people in middle school, but I'm just saying in general, like when you think about it that way, you know that's not the best thing that God has for you. Like that person in middle school seemed like they were the best thing because you hadn't experienced life, because you hadn't met other people, because you hadn't seen what it was that you actually want. Like the person in middle school might have been cool because maybe they wore all the new shoes or maybe they wore their hair a certain type of way. Their hair is balding now. Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But like I have gray hairs now, so it's just a thing. But but seriously, if God gave you that and you thought that was the best, and now you meet all the other people that you've met in your life since then, and like probably 20 of those people have been better than that one person that you was crushing on so hard or whatever else, or their characteristic traits or their core values are way off of what you value today. Imagine if God would have let you be with that person. That person would have destroyed you. That person would have been no good for you. It would have been tragic. You would have sought your identity and your security in that person because you felt like that made you worthy or better. When a person can never be your security, only God can do that, because a person's opinion of you is going to change from day to day. They may like you one day and not like you the next. And that's like that in relationships as well. They might still like you as a person. They might think you're a decent person, but that doesn't mean that they're going to like everything you do. So if they don't like some of the things that you do, is that going to make you worthless? Is that going to make you not a good person or not value yourself just because they don't like the way you chew your food or that you're wearing purple lipstick or whatever else it is? Like, if you are trying to hang your identity on the idea of someone else, you will never be happy. And if you are thinking that one person is going to make you appreciated or make you more valuable than you are by yourself, that is not the person for you. That is not good for you. That will destroy you, because every time they change their mind, you're going to be going through emotional trauma. Every time they feel a certain type of way, you will be trying to please them every single day, and you will never be happy because your happiness won't matter. So every time you think about asking God why he can't give you something that seems like it looks good, imagine imagine that guy or girl in middle school that you had a crush on that looks nothing like that today. Or why'd I have to go there though? Or imagine that thing as a kid that you wanted so badly. Now you can't even remember what it was that you asked for Christmas that year. Like, you don't even know what it was. It could have been anything. You could have, if you had that pair of shoes, like, okay, let's say it's a pair of, I don't know why I keep saying shoes, but I can't think of anything else. If it was a new pair of shoes, and let's say your shoe size was a size 6 and now it's a size 8. You wanted so badly for Christmas this one pair of shoes. And imagine if you got that pair of shoes and you had to wear that pair of shoes for the rest of your life. Now you're a size 8. You can barely fit them. You walking around with some old shoes all worn out, shoestrings falling apart. You could barely wear them because your toes are getting all smushed every single day because you wear a size 8 now. You're trying to fit into this old position that you no longer fit in anymore. That was back then. This is not the season you're in now. Just like God is going to continuously grow you and use you, you need someone who will be able to grow with you. You will need something that will be able to sustain the seasons that God is going to take you through. You can't be with someone who's only good for one season. You can't be with someone who's only good for you at this one moment in your life. You have to be with someone who is equally yoked. You would have to be in a job or a position that God intends for you to be in so that you could be where you need to be in life, so that he can use this as, whether it's going to be something you retire from or something that God has you in at this moment, so people can see what Christ looks like in this job, because maybe there's not enough of that there. Maybe you're the person who will change things. Maybe you're the person who will come in and actually see what the supervisor is going through. Maybe you're answering someone's prayer. So before you start asking God why, when you'll never understand why, or you start to feel like you deserve something that God is saying he has better for you, know that, think about that kid. Think about that guy or girl that you had a crush on in middle school. And man, think about, one day I'm going to tell this story and nobody's going to know who it is. But one of the people in my family who's older was, no one knows who this is. And this was a conversation between us. So no one's going to pick up on this. And I don't think she watches this video. So we're good. But, but one of the older people in my family, not older, like she's older than me. And I was younger at the time. Like, I think I was in like middle school or elementary school. And when I say this, please don't take it offensively. I was just a kid. But she was talking about, oh yeah, when I was in school, I used to really like, or I thought he was the cutest thing ever. Like, or this is the guy that I used to like. Okay, I'm gonna stop laughing because God, please forgive me. But she said, yeah, man, girls used to go crazy over him. He smiles, his teeth are missing, which is nothing wrong with people missing teeth. So if you're missing teeth, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying that this is the image. I'm just trying to describe the image of what I saw so you can understand where my mindset was as a kid. And I was a kid, so I would not do this today. I'm not that type of person. And so, yeah, he smiles. There's no teeth. Life hit him rough, man. He had a hard life because I was like, this is the guy that you used to like, that y'all used to go crazy over. But honestly, when you think about the things that you want in your life right now, that's exactly how they look to God when He knows He has better for you. Mic drop. No, seriously, that's exactly how it looks. While you're sitting there complaining, thinking that you're missing out on something. Mm. While you were, I'm trying so hard to keep it together right now. Oh my gosh. But while you are really sitting there, like, God, it just doesn't make any sense why I can't have this, man. Like, it's just everything lines up, everything's perfect, the job is perfect, the pay is good, the benefits, the PTO, like, everything is everything I could have ever wanted. And God is looking at you like, you want that dusty, crusty job when I got this over here for you? Like, come on, man. And that's how it is in relationships too, but I don't want to call anybody that. So, you know what I mean. But he's like, you're like, oh, but this person is just so amazing. They just have all the right credentials or they meet all of these things on a checklist, which I don't get the checklist thing. I guess it's kind of like my equally yoked. And honestly, let me just go ahead and break down the whole like standards thing and everything. I want to have standards. I want to honor and respect myself. My main goal, like, okay, standards and boundaries are amazing. Let's be honest. If there's a guy who is everything I think I need in my life, who is equally yoked, my standards, I'm going to have to pray for the strength of God to not break a standard for that. Sorry. I mean, it's the truth. I know there's several other women that will lie and try to pretend like, oh, I would never do something like that. I would like to believe that I would be able to have standards high enough or they would be strong enough to withstand something like that. And for the most part, there are things that are just like not things that I could just bend on. Like there's been other people who I'm equally yoked with, but they just tried it and I was just like, nah, bro. Like not today. And so but it's so I don't want to say every single person could get away with something like that. But there is some people who can literally push your standard and you are just like, what happened? And that's just being real. But when it comes to standards and boundaries, I think they're really good to have them. I think it's really good to have an idea of where you stand in your life and why it is important to you. And if you feel like you want to tolerate less than that, remember why you had that standard. And if they do something that is below your standards and you get frustrated, remember the reason why you had that standard in the first place. Because anything that you put up with after that is on you. You decided to stick in there just because this guy looked like everything you ever wanted. So now it's your problem. It's your choice. This is your life. Nobody can live it for you. And so Just be honest with yourself. Don't pretend like you did something that no other woman does. Like, really just be for real. And also, like for me, I usually have no problem doing that, having a standard. I meet like certain people, and it's so hard to have a standard and a boundary with those people. Like, and it's not everybody, it's just random certain people. I don't know if it's a soul thing. I don't know if it's just, and it's like extenuating circumstances too. It's not just this person's so amazing and then this made me do this. It's like they they got a check off the list in some sort of way that negated, or that covered like an area, some sort of area that I needed, if that makes any sense. And they don't know what it is because I'm not going to tell people so that they could try to use that to get over on me. But it'll be something like that. And that's the only reason why they got a leeway, not a all the way. Like, I'm not going to just completely break my standards. But that's why I could see myself being like, and it wouldn't be a full thing. It wouldn't be like it wouldn't be something like like reciprocity wouldn't be something that I could change, because I can't just in my head have some sort of image of what's happening and nothing's going on. Like, that's, and it can't be a inconsistent thing, like they just have no intentionality in their life. That's not what I want. And obviously, if I'm interested in someone, I'm not going to not want to communicate with them at all. Like, I can't meet an amazing person or someone who is whatever they are and be like, oh, I never ever want to learn anything about this person. That's so silly. Like, I hear like people that I truly respect talk about how great this person is, and I don't want to know anything about them. Like, who thinks like that? I just never want to talk to you. Like, come on. And so let's be serious. And so just be honest with yourself when you're going through different situations in your life, and really think about why it matters to you, why you want to have that standard, why you have boundaries in your life. And are you going to be perfect 100%? No. And when you make a mistake, when you let a standard slide, when you go through different stages in your life, don't beat yourself up. Learn from it and keep on moving. Do not just sit there and feel like, oh, I didn't do this as perfect as so and so on such and such video, or so and so in my friend group. Your friend didn't even do that good. You know how many standards or things that she's done wrong in her life, but she won't tell you because it's embarrassing. It really is. It's not like a brag thing, like, oh, hey girl, guess what? I lowered the standard. Or, hey girl, I was doing something and I completely missed the fact that this person, did something that was below my standards, or they did something that I didn't know was something that I needed at the time. Like, no one wants to brag about that. So, so don't feel bad and just don't beat yourself up. Just learn the lesson from it and keep on moving. Just try to do better. Try to be a better person. I I really don't like when people in videos say, I would never ever deal with that. I don't want to do this. Like, I say stuff like similar to that, but it's usually like, this is a standard for me. This is what I really want. This is what I really truly desire and need. Like, and I'm hoping and praying, God, like, when you introduce people into my life, please let them have these standards. Like, please let me be strong enough, because it's tough. It really, really is. And especially since we're emotional, especially since we have things that we need or we want, it's not just like an easy thing, like, oh, whatever. It's like it's rough. And so just be real. And I had a point, I promise, but I don't know. I just sometimes just keep on going. And so I'm reading this new book. It's called Killing Comparison. Can you see that? Nona Jones. And I got this book. So me and one of my close friends, like, I think it was like a month, 2 months ago, I was like in a moment or whatever. And I have like the coolest friends. I've really been blessed with good people in my life. And I was feeling a certain type of way, and I was telling her some of the things that it like was on my mind, and she was just like, "What?" And she said, "You know what? Your birthday's coming up. Let's do this, this, and this." So it's like it's like that moment on the, I don't want to try to like name drop movies and stuff, but it's like that moment on Hot Chick when I go back and forth like, this is how it plays in my mind. This is why I'm so cheery most of the time, because it's like funny stuff like that pops into my head. And so so I was like, it's like that moment on Hot Chick when she was like, "Let's do our nails and then we'll get our hair done and then we'll do this." And just to cheer up her mom. And so that's how my friend is. And it was like the sweetest thing ever. It made my soul feel so good. She was just like, "We'll do this and then we'll do this." And I was just like, "Oh," like it was so nice. And I really, really appreciated it so much. And so she got that book for me, and I was reading this book at the library, and then I had another book, so I couldn't read it yet, but I just started this today. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good." And it's funny because I was praying to God, and I was just like, "God, it just doesn't make any sense why you would show me this job and I wouldn't be able to get it. Or you would show me this thing and I wouldn't be able to get it in my life." And I said, "God, what is it that I can do in my life? Like, what do you, like, give me an answer of what it is that you want me to do?" And he said, "Do you really think that I can't do anything?" And I said, "No, God, I know you could do everything. Like, there's nothing that is too small or too big for you. You can do everything." And he was like, "So why would you doubt me?" Mic drop. Yeah, I know. Like, God really just be dropping jewels like that. Like you think that the rappers have like bars, but God in the Bible is like the bars for real. And so, so he says that, and I'm like, whatever it is that you need to do, if I can't have this, I understand. I know that it's not for me. It might not feel like the best, but I understand. If you're saying that this isn't what you intend for me to have, I understand. If you want me to have something differently, I understand. And I just left it in God's hands, and I said, "God, I don't want to do your job. I don't want to try to pretend like I'm trying to take over your job. I don't want to pretend to try to know why you would make certain decisions in my life or why you wouldn't make certain decisions in my life. The only thing I can do is just be obedient and just try to do the best that I can and just listen and allow you to do whatever it is that you need to do in my life and just take the lead. Stop like trying to go before God seriously, because sometimes it feels like, oh, I got to do something. Like, you don't have to do anything. Just relax. Stop. Wait. Chill. Like, stop doing the most. Relax." And so I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, "God, I give everything to you. Like, I give my concerns, my doubts, anything that is going on in my mind, anything that's troubling me, anything that is heavy on my heart, anything that I feel that I need answers to, I give it to you." And God says, "This is what I wanted for you." And it felt so amazing. Like, I would like to try to pretend like I wasn't happy in that moment, but I was happy. And then like the first sermon that played said Proverbs, I think it's 3, verse 5 through 6. Then the second one went and talked about Proverbs 3, 5 through 6, which is the answer to the question that I had. And then the next one, Proverbs 3, verse 5 through 6. Then I listened to this lady who was talking about how in life, how she speaks with God and how he answers her. And she said every time that she needs an answer to something, God always gives her this verse. Proverbs 3, 5 through 6. Why, when I read this book, does it say Proverbs 3, 5 through 6? I said, "Okay, God, you got a good sense of humor. I got it. I understand." And let me read it for you. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him," which, in different translations says, acknowledge him. and he will make your path straight. And in other versions it says, and he will give you the desires of your heart. I know God is like that for real. Like, let's not pretend like he isn't who he says he is. Like, come on. Like, wow. And so that's what made me title this Acknowledge Him, because no matter what you're going through in life, in conclusion, that's what made me title this Acknowledge Him, because no matter what you're going through in life, no matter how hard it gets, no matter what you do or do not get that you feel like you deserve, no matter what it is in life that's happening to you or that you're going through, as soon as you call on his name, as soon as you acknowledge him, he will answer your prayers. He will be right there as soon as you need him. And I know they say he might not come when you want him, but he's always right on time. It was like, as soon as I acknowledged God, he gave me the answers that I needed. He gave me this calm, this peace that I had been searching for, that I didn't feel yesterday. Like I just couldn't get through that cloud. And he really just was there. He was everything that I needed in that moment, always. and, and it was just like, I don't know how else to describe it. It just was amazing. And the financial thing that I was talking about, as soon as I acknowledged God, he gave me my answer. I felt peace, and the finances were fixed like that. The thing that I had been waiting on happened just like that. That's how, I'm telling you, man. Whew, God is so good. Oh my gosh. You don't even understand. It was like, I literally have one day to make this work. And literally it happened just like that. And then, no, that's not even the best thing. I'm at work. All of these things are going wrong. My system's messed up. I can't get through to anything. I can't do any of the stuff that I need to do. I'm constantly like calling, restarting stuff, doing all of these things. And I'm like, God, I don't know how I'm going to get all of this done. I need you. There's no way that I should have been able to finish this. And as soon as I said that, one of the people at work that barely knows me said, hey, I saw that you had this going on. Would you like for me to help you? And they stepped in and we completed everything. But God literally will do anything to help his people. If you acknowledge him, he will do whatever it takes to make sure that you have everything that you need. I'm trying not to cry, but I can't explain it. It's something that you have to feel for yourself. Like, he is just constantly always blessing me and always there for me. And I just definitely don't deserve it, but I'm so grateful. Oh my gosh. See, I was trying not to cry. I was like wiping tears and they were just falling so fast. But in all your ways, acknowledge him.